So I've gone over all 5 confirmed specials for Splatoon 3, came up with what 5 specials I think will be returning, and now I'm going to show you guys 5 brand new concepts or special ideas I think they should do in Splatoon 3. From a remnant of human culture, harnessing the power of a zapfish, or even scarier, Splatoon 1. I hope you enjoy these concepts, and if you do, be sure to subscribe for even more Splatoon 3 content in the future. Let's get into it. This first special is known as a Sonic Wave, which was a weapon made from the power of a zapfish. While hard to control, it has unique effects on Inkling's special weaponry. The special has you place down a small device. It leaves you fairly immobile, and then it explodes in a giant ring that'll give people the effect of Splatoon 1 Disruptor, purely visual, of course. Walls and floors do block it, and it takes some time to activate and even longer before you can move. This special has a few different effects. First of all, any sub-weapon nearby will be entirely broken. Any player's hit will have some status effects added to them. Their ink recovery rate will be slowed down by 1/3, and same for their super jump speed. However, the primary effect is if you're hit by this special, you can't activate your own, even if it's fully charged, and all of these effects will last for a total of 5 seconds. Special power-up will increase the duration this lasts from 5 up to 7 seconds total. For the strengths and weaknesses, this is the only special in the game with the ability to disable other specials, and on top of that, it's a great counter to sub-weapons, clearing an entire area around you. However, the main downside to this special is your extreme vulnerability, on top of the fact that it doesn't do anything to active specials. This has to be used as a preemptive strike, to stop the enemy team before they can even get their footing. If done right, your team could have a huge advantage, able to use their own specials to take them down, but if you use it wrong and you die, well, it's not really going to be that worth it, and your team's just going to be in a 3v4. This is a very tactical and high-risk, high-reward special. Those who enjoy trying to shut down the enemy team first and having careful strategy with their timing will get the most out of this. This next special is really different from anything else in the Splatoon series, so I got a lot to say about it, but this is Ink Risk Rally. Inklings have found a way to harness an ancient ability that once ruled Inkopolis, giving them a way to tap into potential from 4 years ago. So this special has 2 phases. The first one is the activation one, in which the special user jumps into the air and basically does a little splashdown, but rather than doing any form of damage, it launches a large green ring that spreads out around the range of 3 lines and chains to anyone on their team, giving them an aura for 7 seconds. The effects from this aura is that your respawn time and special depletion are both cut in half, and yes, this stacks with quick respawn, special saver, and respawn punisher. There is one exception though, and that's the special user, who will lose 75% of their special upon death. Special power-up will boost the size of the ring from 3 lines up to 4. This special has literally 1 strength, which is that if you lose a fight with it, it is much less punishing. The main weaknesses are that you have a vulnerable startup, it requires teammates to be nearby you, and your pushes with this will be much more clumped, and you won't be able to hide since you have that aura. So yeah, this special is based off Splatoon 1 quick respawn meta, and it seems a little bit weak on paper. The main unique thing about it is that it doesn't actually give you an advantage, it just gives you a safety net. If anything, it honestly makes your push harder. On paper, I think a lot of people are going to see this special and think it seems incredibly weak, but honestly, I think it has some interesting uses. Some strategies can have multiple people using these specials, and beacons or an anchor weapon that won't go in with you to give you fast regroups and allow you to play off this fast respawn time over and over, eventually winning a fight because of how aggressive you are. Another instance could be using this to do a fake push, baiting your opponents to use specials on you and then regrouping and pushing them with your own. This could also potentially be used defensively. If the opponents use a ton of their specials, you could pop this and take a fight with them without investing any of your own, regrouping quickly to a backline or beacon. Obviously in solo, I think this will be used pretty much for individual carry potential. You might want to chain it to your team, but giving yourself a way to go for a risky push without punishing yourself as much will definitely be useful. I might do an entire discussion on the applications and potential of this special, but like I've said before, it doesn't really help you, so it's very different from any others. You would have to use this more on its own or with strategies that don't involve many other specials. While many people may underestimate it, I'm sure there's some squids in the lab who will find a unique use for this. The next special is based off a remnant from human culture, all about mobility enhancement, giving a way for even the slowest weapons to have brand new threat potential. This is the Splatboard. This special has a bit of startup in which you pull out and get on a surfboard, which lets you move at high speeds with full access to both your main and sub-weapon. You can even swim through enemy terrain and uninkable surfaces, just like an ink brush. Using squid form will let you put down the surfboard and swim around normally, especially helpful since the special can climb walls. This has a little bit of delay and uses 5% of your ink tank to pull out the surfboard again. Speaking of which, the special will drain 10% of your ink tank every second, even if you are in squid form and you can't recover any ink during this. After your ink tank runs out, the special will flip in front of you and will last for about 3 seconds as a mini shield. This special is affected by weight classes, so lightweight weapons will roll at 2 units per frame, which is barely slower than ink brush. Middleweight weapons will roll at 1.85 units, and heavyweight weapons will roll at 1.7, which is slightly faster than Octobrush. And by the way, the surfboard shield that happens when your special runs out has 150 HP. Special power-up actually has 2 effects for this one. First of all, it increases the shield HP from 150 up to 250, but secondly, it decreases the ink tank consumption of pulling out the surfboard again from 5 to 3%. On to the basic strengths and weaknesses. This special has a really long duration, especially the less actions you do. You have a very high speed, and you get a bonus mini shield when it runs out. Walls are also a big deal for this special, since you can't climb it without going into squid form and wasting time. And of course, there's no added HP, so you're still fully vulnerable when on top of that surfboard. So this was a fan-submitted concept outside of the whole shield thing at the end and any specific information, and I think it was a great idea. Honestly, having another enhancement special like Zipcaster is great, and that's also why I made it more ink tank dependent like Zipcaster is. I made this weight class dependent because I think the slower your weapon is, the more you'll benefit, so it's more just to balance it and make it more equal across the variety of weapons it could be put on. I think this is fairly unique. A lot of weapons could benefit from the mobility, and it could be a ton of fun to use. So I think anyone who really wants a chance to go lightning fast and shoot their enemies at the same time will enjoy this one. Recently, Sheldon did some experiments with main power-up, attaching numerous gear pieces together when a fusion occurred. After some tinkering, a device was made that can fully utilize the power of main power-up. This can raise the main weapon to be as powerful as a special. The special would take 50 frames to activate, basically being you pulling out the device and attaching it to your weapon, which would give you a duration varying from 5 to 7 seconds, depending on your weapon. The special also has end lag when it runs out, as your main weapon untransforms back to normal, so you're a bit vulnerable there. There's numerous different effects, from reverting nerfs, fire rate increases, range increases. I'll get into some examples in a bit. Special power-up can increase the duration by up to 1 second more than the standard duration, and it will decrease the end lag from 45 frames to 30 frames. The strengths will vary by whatever weapon it is, but the weaknesses are the same, which is a lot of startup and a lot of end lag. So I kind of covered this in a video, but that was more of a proof of concept. Not all the effects were thought out and actually balanced, so I'm gonna go through some of the ones that I do think are fair examples to show off a bunch of the different effects it could give, and revoice over them because my old mic was trash. Aerospray. Given a 125% larger ink tank capable of throwing 4 burst bombs with a bit of subsaver, for example. 96 Gal loses all RNG on the weapon entirely, lasts 7 seconds. Tri-Slosher will have its old range back that it had in the start of Splatoon 2, you know, when literally everyone played it. Rapid Blaster. Directs now deal 125 damage, 5 seconds. Dapple Dualies. You get double the amount of dodge rolls as normal, 6 seconds. Gootuber. When holding a charge, it gets the effect of Ninja Squid as well as no glow. It doesn't even slow you down. 7 seconds. Dynamo Roller. Roll speed increased to match Octobrush. 7 seconds. E-Leader. 100 damage has been changed to apply at 70% or higher. Basically like Splatoon 1 with damage up. 6 seconds. Brella. Can now shoot and shield at the same time, just like the bug in patch 1.4. 5 seconds. Sloshing Machine. Can now pierce through objects like the Grisco Machine. 7 seconds. The idea of a special that buffs your main weapon is really kind of limitless. There's a ton of different ways you can approach it, and this is just one concept. This idea, compared to any others I've come up with, is probably never going to happen for the sheer amount of development time of making a unique enhanced weapon look and effect for every single one in the game, or however many they put on these specific weapons. But you know, it's cool in theory, so I wanted to mention it. Inspiration for specials has come from a number of different places, from the Zapfish to old human culture, but this one comes straight from the sea, the Swordfish Swarm. This special starts by summoning 7 swordfishes around you like small daggers, which takes about 50 frames to activate. The special lasts 7 seconds, and each hit of the swordfish does 60 damage. The special has multiple modes of fire, but all of them will paint your feet and do nothing else in terms of paint output. All modes will use 1 swordfish for each attack, and you'll lose it. However, if you do get a kill or an assist, you'll summon an extra swordfish. The first way of firing it is a throw throwing mode that has Tri-Slosher fire rate. Of course, there is a small hitbox, but the shots will travel about not velocity with 3.5 lines of range. As a bonus, this will also pierce through opponents. Firing mode 2 uses your sub-weapon, and it does a melee swipe that has around 1.5 lines of range. It has about Octobrush flick speed and hitbox size. And you wouldn't guess it, but there is a third firing mode. By pressing the special stick, you can throw all remaining swordfish similar to fire mode 1, but the more you have, the larger the hitbox will be. It'll basically be in a giant ring. Special power-up will increase the duration from 7 up to 9 seconds, and increase the range of your throwing modes from 3.5 up to 4 lines. The strengths of this special is your kill power and your insane close range swipes. Weaknesses though are that you have basically no painting ability besides inking your feet. There is literally nothing else, and as well as the floating swordfish makes you a big target, and the special requires very precise aim. This special has a few, well, special attributes. It's the only one with 3 firing modes, and it has that ammo refund upon kills or assists. You do have to be really careful with this one. You want to have a lot of paint control near you, or be able to see people you want to snipe at a distance. The third firing mode is also a massive risk reward. It's your biggest hitbox and chance of killing, but if you whiff, you've just lost the entire special. For players who wait for just the right opening, this special will allow you to capitalize off of the best of situations. So, this completed with my returning specials video, check out the link in the description if you haven't seen it, is all my concepts for Splatoon 3 special ideas. There's definitely a lot of things that could go with it, and I honestly can't wait to see what other specials we have remaining, and I hope they're amazing. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great day.